The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is DonivanG, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting my journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is DonivanG, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. Do you want to learn real estate? We got that. Do you want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Do you want travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. Hair and makeup? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at DonivanG, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, which I think is so funny because not really your name. It's Melissa, but you know, whatever. I mean, it's not, but your name's not, that's not your name. It's not your name.
It's my middle name.
It's not your name though. It's not your name. Right, it is her middle name, but her name is Melissa. I think people call her Anita all the time. I find it funny. Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 124. Yes. All right. This podcast has 4 different segments. We have the life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topic of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is August 2nd, and it is 3:17 p.m. Before we get into the life update, all right, y'all already know, for y'all be here every week, Screentime first and foremost. Okay, the reason that is because I know if I don't take advantage of my phone, then my phone is taking advantage of me, and I can't have that if I want to be a billionaire. So last week, my average screen time for every single day, I was on my phone for an average of 8 hours and 19 minutes a day. For the week, I spent 20 hours on YouTube, 12 hours on Instagram, damn near 13, and about 6 hours on Google Maps. Okay. That is up from the week before, which was 7 hours and 48 minutes. I pick up my phone on average 104 times, and my first used app after pickup is YouTube. So, I mean, like I said, it's not bad. I always find it funny. I talk to my sister sometimes, and she'll tell me, like, hey, it's like her screen time on average is like 3 hours or something like that. And, like, if it goes higher than that, she's like, this is crazy. But it's usually less, which is insane to me. But obviously, it just lets me know that I be in the house too much. I need to go outside more. Beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend. What is your screen time?
My screen time. For what device? My phone.
Oh, facts. Because we know we caught you slipping last week. She got 8 hours on each device.
So last week, 7 hours and 13 minutes is the average. Up 16% from the week before. Oh, so on average I spent an hour more than I did the week before. On my phone, the most used app for me is Instagram at 16 hours and 30 minutes. Then TikTok at 8 hours and 30 minutes. And then Google Maps at 6 hours and 30 minutes. And I picked up my phone 145 times.
Golly.
Average.
Per day. That's almost 200.
Up. 22%.
Sheesh. What's the first used app?
My first used app was Instagram.
Oh, you've been on Instagram a lot. Obviously, you got a problem, Melissa.
I got my phone 1,016 times last week.
Bro, I'm telling you, I cannot wait until I have money. I don't want to use my phone. Like, I'm tired of it. Honestly, like I be looking at it sometimes, just like, we here again. It's like jerking off too many times, where you're looking at it and you go, I guess we can do this again. You pick it up, you just swipe, and you swipe until the day is over. So let's see. Well, last week for me, I feel like it was a very I don't know if I'll say regular week. I can never tell anymore. I feel like I don't know if our weeks are just, would you call it chaotic? I wouldn't call it chaotic. I feel like our weeks just have stuff in it that we have planned to do. What?
Chaos.
Well, she calls it chaos. I don't know if I would call it. To me, it doesn't feel like chaotic. It just feels like a lot of
stuff. It's 100% chaotic.
But like, here's the thing. Okay, here's what I was getting to. I feel like our daily week has things to do in it, but because it's part of our daily routine to some degree, it doesn't seem like we did anything to me.
But that's not the part that makes it chaotic.
Sure. What makes it chaotic? I thought nothing was chaotic.
What makes it chaotic is having to do last minute outside things.
Like what? We didn't have to do none of that.
We went to Philly.
That wasn't a last minute thing. It was like 3 days ahead. I was like, you're gonna go to Philly on Sunday.
That 3 days. It's not enough time. It's not like we was planning on going to Philly for a week. That's not even a week. It's not even a week in advance. Like, I was thinking, because you have to see it from my perspective.
Honestly, it's probably Wednesday, but sure.
Because I'm like, okay, I have 2 weeks to prepare for this new craft fair that we just signed up for. So I'm trying to get all the supplies in, blah, 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 right? Then you ask me like, hey, when you trying to make them candles for the craft fair? I'm like, probably tomorrow. Why? Okay, because I'm trying to go to Philly on Sunday. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, chaos.
That's not chaotic, because you don't have to do nothing. All you do is drive out there and come back home. It's not like...
But it's like I had other things that...
You didn't. That's why I asked.
Sure.
You told me no. That's what I asked you. You said no.
Sure. I get what you're saying, though, because like we have a schedule kind of things that we need to get done. It's not assigned to a specific day, but I think that makes it even more chaotic.
I feel like it's not chaotic at all. I feel like chaotic would be like, we gotta go to Philly right now.
That'd be happening.
Right, but it didn't happen last week. It wasn't like, damn, we're doing this. Oh, damn, we gotta go to Philly right this minute. Let's get up and leave. That to me is chaotic. Us being like, all right, let's go to Philly in a couple of days. It's like, all right, it's a 2-hour drive. Go over there, do what we gotta do, come back. That's not crazy to me. So, but anyways, the reason I'm even saying any of this is because when it came to this week for what we had to do, or what was going to be in a life update, I'm like, what did we even do last week? But we definitely went to Philadelphia. So update on the house, and talking to agents. Yeah, I know that we fired the agents, I guess the week ago, maybe now at this point, maybe a week and a half. I'm not sure the exact day it was. Like I said, things be happening so quickly. It wasn't even last week we fired them. It was the week before that. It was 2 weeks ago that we fired them. So last week was mostly me calling agents. And I think that I have definitely had... I would say I've had a good response calling agents. Now, here are some of the problems that I run into with calling agents myself and trying to find a buyer. Most agents hate working with buyers. People who are buying houses, maybe I heard this before, maybe I have not. But for a buyer's agent, that requires a lot of going to showings, dealing with people who are very picky. Oh, I don't like this house because the carpet is green. I don't like the house because the bedroom is facing the north instead of the south. I don't like that house because their doorknobs are brown instead of black. And then they're just driving the person around till they find a house. And they finally find a house like, oh, I can't even afford it. So it's like, it's just that over and over and over again as a buyer's agent. And I can understand why people hate them. With that being said, I would assume that somebody who is serious as an agent would have multiple buyers on hand, just because you're in the industry, you're working with people, you have buyers. A lot of people I called are just like, yeah, I don't have anybody. And I'm like at all? Like, you don't even have a person? Like, you can't call nobody at Brighton? So like, in my mind, right, what are you doing right now? Like, are you trying to find listings? Is that what you're doing? Like, I don't even know. Listen, this is my thing when it comes to agents is I really don't think that they are that good at their job. I think the majority of agents are very subpar, and I think that is very disheartening because they have so much control over the economy. Like, and I feel like they are put in a position that they are handling assets that are hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and they don't really know how to do their job. It's kind of crazy to me. So I am talking to different agents, and I think I've probably found 4 that I would hire as an exclusive agent, because I think that doing what I'm doing now, I could probably find a buyer, but I think it's a very slim chance to do it this particular way. A lot of what I've been hearing and seeing when it comes to finding a buyer, which again is kind of sad as a real estate agent, it's not really about the agent necessarily, because it's just about getting the most eyes on the property and hoping that someone who wants to buy the house sees it and buys it. Like, that's really what it is. And it comes down to who has the ability to put in front of the most people. So for those who don't know about real estate from the back end, there's something called the MLS, which stands for the Multiple Listing Service. And how it works is I would take the house and I would put it on there. Then all the sites like Redfin, Zillow, Trulia, those sites get their information from the MLS and they put it on there. So once I put it on the MLS, all of those sites will then have the property on there. Those, and even the ones that we never even heard of, those small tiny ones. So that now allows millions of people to see the house, right? Whoever, I guess I would say millions of people. And a lot of agents pitch that to me as if that is them doing work, which is literally them doing nothing. They're just taking it right up the listing and putting it on the app, on the MLS. So when I hear that from an agent, that's kind of like, okay, you are not good at your job because all you're going to do is put on there. Like, you have not given me any other marketing strategies you're going to use to be able to get this house sold at a price that I want to be sold at quickly. So like I said, there are some that I have run into. And now the other problem I've been having with them is this. There's something called an open listing, or a non-exclusive listing. Most agents want to sign an exclusive listing because they want to guarantee that they get paid if the house gets sold. Which again, even if they don't do any work, they're going to get paid. So if they put on MLS, somebody calls them and they have an agent, they're going to get paid. They're going to get paid regardless. Like, if they do absolutely nothing but list it, they're going to get paid. So I have been considering putting it on there myself because I did get my license and I have access to that MLS in Philadelphia. So I'm like, you know what? I can put up there myself. That's what I'm going to say before too, is as far as agents and open listings, right? A lot of them don't even know what that is. They never heard of a non-exclusive listing or open listing. And I'm like, how long have you been doing this? And you've never heard of that before? Like, you don't know what it is? And again, that's like, damn, what are y'all really even doing? So I think this week will be the week that I probably call some more buyers, and then I'll probably try and list it next week or the week after that. I would say we are for sure in a crunch time because we have an interest payment due. We don't really have any money. We have probably like maybe $400 between the both of us, between like 5 or 6 different accounts. We're doing a craft fair this weekend, which should bring us in probably like between $1,000 and $1,500 over the weekend. So that can help us go to the interest payment. The interest payment we have to pay every single month for the house is $1,600. So yes, $1,600 every month for this payment. And I'm hoping we could take some of the money we make from the craft fair, put it towards that, plus the money we already have. And then we get paid from YouTube at the end of the month. We made $1,600 last month. Yo, you know what's crazy? So, you know, okay, some of y'all might believe in this, maybe some of y'all don't, but the universe works in mysterious ways. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly the number. I'm gonna check, but now that I think about it, I think we might have made the exact money from YouTube that we need to pay for the interest payment. I think it's like down to the dollar amount. So let me check. So the interest payment is, let me get this number correct, $1,650.36. And on YouTube last month, the month of July, we made $1,659.90 on there. So that would pretty much cover our entire payment for this month of August. So I just always think it's interesting when things like that happen, because we had hit our highest month on YouTube like 2 months ago, and then went down like $100-$200, and then last month they had like a crazy month where it started going back up. So for us to hit that, and at the end of the month it started slowing down, so it's like, okay, it went up a lot, then slowed down enough just to make the right amount of money to cover the interest payment for the house. So when it comes to the house and our contractor, right? You already know what escapades that we've had with him. I don't even know what to say honestly at this point anymore. I don't even really know. I don't know what to say at this. I really don't know what to say about it, because it's like being a dead horse. Y'all know him. I know him. Melissa knows him. We all know his character and his personality. But I will again tell y'all what happened last week. So the house is supposed to get cleaned, and some other minor things like some baseboard and some trim in different parts of the house. Nothing too crazy, just small things like that. And when I asked him, like, hey, what's the update on things getting done? His response to me was, I have to turn over 40 apartments right now. And I'm like, why are you telling me that? I don't understand. Like, what is the purpose? I don't know why you're telling me that. Because are you saying that you have so much work that you can't do this? And then to even fix your mouth to say that is even crazier. And it's just kind of like, did I expect more from him? I guess not, right? Like, it's nothing else I could expect. Like, this is what he's been doing the whole entire time. So I'm just at this point, like I said, the house can be sold the way it is right now. The basement got clean. He did have the cleaners go over there like in 2 days after that message, and they cleaned out the basement, cleaned the floors, and I'll put all those pictures up because we got some great ass pictures. That is the main reason why we went to Philadelphia, because I've also been messing around with the virtual staging thing. I don't know if I said that in the last podcast. I feel like I did. And I wanted to get really good pictures. We got one back as a test, so I'll put the first one we got as a test, and I'll put up the second one we got as a test, so y'all can see the comparison of the two, which ones y'all like more or the other. I prefer like a Scandinavian decor with a modern touch to it, so that's why we went to Philadelphia. And right now, I think I need something called a certificate of occupancy for the house. I'm pretty sure to get that you have to pass a final inspection, and we just found out last week that there's a possibility that the drain in the backyard, which we know is a problem, which is why there was water in the basement, is that they probably got cement inside of the area drain in the backyard. When I told him about it, he was like, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, that's what I was told. He's like, well, how do they know that? I'm like, they checked. He said, did they see it? I'm like, no. He said he put something down there and he felt there was probably cement down there. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I go check it out. And I'm like, bro, cement should not be in the drain. And if it is, I mean, you got to pick it up or break it up again and re-put the cement down. And the guy who went out there told me that the proper drain or area drain is not even installed in that back there, which I'm not that surprised, because when I saw it, it looked funny to me, but I don't know construction. So I'm like, okay, it seems fine. So that is what that is. But like I said, this week I had some good people I've talking to as far as selling the house, and I want to list it. That's the thing. Because I'm like, let me ask you this question. How long do you think I should have it listed as a FSBO, which is, for you guys who don't know that term, for sale by owner? How long do I should have it listed as a FSBO before I have an agent do it?
2 to 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks? And if I don't get an offer, like, you think you should do it? So you're saying, so you think by the end of August, so by September, I should be getting an agent if we don't have an offer on the table?
Pretty much, unfortunately.
Yeah. So this is just,
I think anything less than 2 to 3 weeks, you might as well just go straight to an agent.
Yeah, I'm really just, I'm over the house at this point. I want to get paid something. I want it to be over. I just want it to be done. That's what I want. I'm so finished with this. I want it to be so, like, I feel the rage in my chest burning as like, I just want this to be over. So we're gonna see. Like I said, we went out to Philadelphia, and in traditional Bamboo Project fashion, it should have been a very quick trip. We go out there and we find out that the ring is not working because it died. Then we also find out that we can't turn it back on because the Wi-Fi is not paid for. So I tried to pay for the Wi-Fi. They said that the account that it's under is to a phone number that I don't have. And when I tried to verify that account with my information, they said that I can't because it's the wrong numbers, the wrong pin I'm giving them. So the only way to fix that would be to take the actual 5G box back to a T-Mobile and have them try to look over it. So we have the box with us now, which means we got to take it to a T-Mobile here in New York, get it fixed, and then take it back out to Philadelphia one of these days. So like I said, it's annoying. I'm so done with the house. I'm so done. So I said this week is going to be mostly me getting some staging pictures, like as far as it getting virtually staged, and then it'll be me talking to other agents to see kind of what they're looking at. So I think as far as the house goes, that's pretty much it for the house. Something else that happened last week, right, was I got this amazing email. Okay, I'm reading the email to you guys. It was so amazing. It said, "Are you ready?" That was the subject of the email. I'm like, maybe I am ready. What am I ready for? It reads, "Hey, Melissa and Donovan, this will be brief. I am a copywriter who specializes in the candle niche and I want to work for you. This would be a completely performance-based job. I only want to get paid based on the results I get you first. I am confident in my ability to write high-performing copy and want to start a mutually beneficial, long-term business relationship with you. To demonstrate my writing ability, I have written you a small email sequence that you can use for your business or newsletter to get new customers. If this is something you are interested in, let me know and I will send it over. If not, let me know if there's any other free work I can do for you, Josh." Like, I was getting all hot and bothered reading this email because I'm like, yo, this email is written so well from a psychological and persuasion perspective. I'm like, yo, if he write like this is amazing. But it was written so well that I'm like, it might be a spam, like it might be some scam email or something, right? And I'm just like, but the reason why this is crazy to me, right, is because we have been talking about how strong you need a copywriter. We have so much content, and we have the house. Well, I mean, we wouldn't use it for that. We could, but the candles in particular, we have to write the descriptions for the candles. We have to write stuff on the website for the candles. We have emails that we had got from a raffle we did before. We have to have like some type of newsletter to send out for that. And I'm like, somebody who does copywriting would be amazing for us right now, and then we can transition them over into like the content on the YouTube, the house selling, like copywriting is such a valuable skill. And honestly, I would if somebody was a freelancer, that would be what I would do. I would 100% tell somebody who's like likes to write, who thinks they're very creative writing, and who can like really describe products or concepts very artistically or very vividly. I would for sure get into copywriting and then try and find somebody you can do that for. It's a great, I feel like it's an easy skill that has a very high like it's a lot of leverage you could use for that. So my cousin actually said that she would do it for us because I posted that email I got. She said, okay, I'll check it out. I'll try and do some copywriting for y'all, because she actually did want to do that. So that kind of turned out well from that perspective. But I was just so... Adasa? I don't know. Today? Maybe this morning?
You ain't tell me that.
Oh, bro. I told you I'd be forgetting.
Like, what? What happened?
Right.
Not me having to watch the podcast to figure out.
Yeah, so we're gonna see. We'll talk about it today at my mom's birthday dinner on the boat that we're going to in the So yeah, so there's that. Let's see what's next on life update that we have for this week. Like I said, this week was a very odd week to me. I don't feel like a lot of stuff happened, a lot of big things happened. So it was a very maintenance week. I feel like very maintenance week. So that means if this was a maintenance week, that probably means the next 4 weeks are going to be crazy. That's probably what this means. Something I found out very interesting yesterday. Okay, I'm scrolling on YouTube as I do for about 20 hours a week, and I came across a video that says how to buy your first car on Turo. And I'm like, that's a very familiar looking title to me. Let me go check out this. What is this about? Let me go look at this. So I go and I watch the video. Now this person has 50,000, almost 60,000 subscribers. Okay, right now we are barely at 5,000. We're at like 4,900. Okay. And when I made the videos about Turo, it was because I could not find a video about how to find a car to put on the app. I had no idea how to look for it. So you could imagine my surprise when I find a video now that came out 6 days ago that almost word for word, bar for bar, is the same exact concept and video as the videos that we put out months ago, last year almost. Okay, we have about 13 videos of that concept on the channel, of different cities, of how to check that market and use this particular way to find the exact, not the exact, but to find a car that would be good for that area. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, I gotta watch the whole video because I want to see how much of it is she going to use in her video. And I was just like, she is saying, here's how at first I was like, okay, it seemed like she's seen our videos, but I don't really know, like, was she really like in it to click? Did she just see it? When she started the video off, and y'all from Turo who've seen the videos and are here on the podcast, the first step, before you even, actually this is the second step, but the first step is to find out how much money you want to make. But the step after that is to change the date on Turo. That's the first thing I say to do. And that's the first thing she says to do in her video. Now, here's why I have a lot of emotion towards this situation. Because to me, right, I think that our channel right now is at 4,900 subscribers. I think if I did an audit of our channel, like a evaluation, I think it would be, I would say like 75,000 or so, something like that. That's what I think. A couple of reasons why we're not there, in my opinion, is the things that we wanted to do, we haven't been able to do because of the house. Like, the house has engulfed us so much. Like, we had Airbnb idea videos, we had candle idea videos, we had vlog idea videos, we had travel videos, we had more Turo videos, we had life videos, wholesale videos. We had so many different concepts and ideas to put on the channel, right? But the house has taken up so much time and energy. We're like, okay, we're trying to get this thing done and then focus on that. So to me, I find it, I guess am I mad? I don't know if I would be mad. I'm more like I don't know what, the lack of my vocabulary is why I would say I'm mad, is because I'm like, yo, if she's copying us and she has almost 10,000 more, no, is it 10,000 more? 10x more subscribers than we have. And she's making money from Turo. And I'm like, you want to take our type, you want like our ideas where you felt like it was valuable enough to try and use. And funny enough, I think it's performing better than most videos on her channel. Let me check what it's at right now. Damn, that's tough. Well, this was last night I saw, so maybe it was definitely, it's not growing as fast. It's growing more than her other channel, her other videos, but it's still not performing that well. And here's why I say that, right? I think it's because the actual content itself was not that good. I feel like she tried to copy what we did because she saw that our videos were getting views. The first one we did like that got 36,000 views. I don't even know what it might be at 40 now. It's at 39,000 views, right? That was 9 months ago. And then the other one we have, the 3-month update, is at 140,000 views. The views on her channel on that particular video, I feel like could be a lot higher, but the content itself inside the video didn't seem that valuable to me. It seemed kind of like quick, just here, do this, do that, it'll work, bye, go about your business. So that goes to show me, like, okay, if people who are bigger than us on YouTube are following us or taking or copying our content, that means that we should have more viewers than we have now. I think we should have more than her particularly, but again, we just aren't there yet. That's just what it comes down to. But that has always kind of been like a framework I go by. Like, if somebody above you is copying you, that means that they don't have any more creativity to apply, and they have to now go down to be able to grow whatever they're doing. Like, if you have to get work from, you have to copy work from somebody else, then I feel like you're going forward slowly, or if anything, technically dying. That's my opinion on it. But like I said, when we finally get out of this, everybody here will see how quickly we start growing on YouTube, how our life will change dramatically, and we have to just wait till the house is done, because that will be the time when we finally get to apply all of our resources that we've picked up and learned, the people we've met. We can put everything together and finally do what we're supposed to be doing. So one of those things is the craft fair, multiple craft fairs, and growing that to a large amount, which we are doing this weekend. We're going to be in Brooklyn and Williamsburg. I'm excited for that. Anything you want to say about the craft fair? Oh, Ember Candle Co. MBURCANDLE.co. That is who is sponsoring this episode of the Bamboo Project. Okay, so we have 4 different candles. We have people watching, room service, wind down, and do not disturb. Now, all of our candles are 100% beeswax. Now, if you don't know, beeswax purifies the air. Okay, now you're like, what does that mean? All right, most candles release toxins into the air. When you have something like that, you want to have some type of, a candle that purifies and removes those toxins. Now, if you are a science person, we can get deeper into it. I can start talking about free radicals, but we're not going that deep into it. We're just talking about the surface level of why the candles are good and better than other candles. You know why? Because when you burn better, you be better. Okay, now they have wooden wicks. So if you ever been out in the forest, you ever been in a hotel on a ski lodge, and you have the wood logs that are crackling when they burn, same thing with the candle. Okay, wooden wicks crackle as they burn. And another reason why we chose beeswax is because it's no paraffins, no parabens, and no phthalates in there. Okay, listen, I'm just saying, you either get a healthy candle that smells good and burns for a long time, because our candles have an 80-hour burn time when most candles of that size have like a 40-hour burn time, usually because they're made of soy, which sometimes, if you don't know, could be unhealthy for you. But we're not getting into that. We're just saying how good the Ember Candle Co. candle is. All right, so what do you want to say, babe?
I feel like this is the calmest craft fair done.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one was pretty calm, aside from our trip to New Jersey to have to get some more wax.
Yeah.
I don't think we don't have to do that at all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I think the craft fair is like, it's not mobilized. It's not prioritized.
Like stabilized?
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good word. Where it's like running on its own.
It's efficient. It's fluid.
It's very efficient. I think the candles have reached a good level of efficiency where it is not as strenuous for me to, make all the candles and all that stuff myself. And then also, I think the amount of money that we expect to get from it is very accurate. Like, it's not like we've ever went into it thinking we're gonna make $1,000 this weekend and only make $200. And don't forget, Melissa's EP is dropping in October.
Oh, critical mass is the point at which a growing company becomes self-sustaining and no longer needs additional investment to remain economically viable.
That's not what we at. Maybe the concept, but not the money part.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Yeah, it's weird because I'm like, we have been there at critical mass, but it's like,
but we have to use the money for other things,
right?
So then, Yeah, I would say so. I would say the amount of money that we make at each craft fair would propel us to another craft fair easily.
Right, sustainable.
Yeah,
it's like we could grow this, but
our what's the word? Our costs are too much.
Our outside costs.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's that. I think I said for last week, it's not really much I could say about what we did. Like I said, maybe the next week might be a little bit slower too, but
yes,
unless something comes up that we don't expect.
It's okay. I need all the slow weeks. Donovan has a bajillion topics that he never spoke about. So.
Bruh. So now episode playback. I just have some kind of, I guess, thoughts that I would say for those who are like me, who like to process and think a lot. Wouldn't it be crazy if the Adam and Eve story was backwards and men came from women? And I was thinking, right? I'm like, of course it would make sense that now that men have all of the more or less power, the story would be that men came from women. But what if it was a womb man, right, was first, and then they took off the womb and just made it a man, right?
You said men came from women. You mean women came from men?
No.
The original story is that women came from men.
No.
It is.
That what?
That women came from men.
Yes.
Right. You said men came from women.
Okay. Well, that's what I said. I meant whatever the original story is, flip it. So that men came from women, and that the first person was actually a woman, and then it actually was a man that came from them. Now, here's my logic to back that up, or my theory. They say that the penis is just an inverted vagina, right? So it's not like you're born with a penis and then it goes inside of you and becomes a vagina. You're born with a vagina and then it grows into a penis. That's how all people are born, to my understanding. So I'm like, wouldn't that be crazy if that was really how it went? Like that was just like the actual story and they told us it was the other way around. And I always say this because I say this every time on the podcast. I think that women are more powerful than men. So here's another thing too, right? Going on top of that, I think it's easier for women to be women than a man to be a man because it's natural for women. But for men are what they are because that's what women want them to be, right? If you were to just have a person exist, as a man exist, I don't think that he would have the character traits that we instill in men to have. However, if you would just have a woman be a woman, I feel like she would naturally fall into that category of being what a woman is if you just left her alone. And honestly, my cousin sent me a video today, and the video has said that the reason that the video said it's hard for a woman to express her feminine side if she is in an uncomfortable environment, because uncomfortable environments makes her have to produce more masculine energy to survive. So the more anxious and uncomfortable she is, the more masculine she'll become, so that she can then have power over her environment, her circumstance, right? If that isn't the case, then she can be all, as we see women to be, la 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 la, right? The stereotypical women that everybody says they are. Now, what the guy didn't say in that clip that she sent me was the flip side of that. If you have a man that is raised in a very comfortable environment, will he also be more feminine? I think he would be. I think if you have a man who's raised with no struggle or a lot less struggle, he's going to be a lot less, quote, masculine and manly than a guy who was raised in all the struggle. Like if you put a man in all the struggle, he has to fight in wars. He has to, find food for his kids because they're starving. He's going to be built a lot different than a man that was raised with $1 billion family that was passed down to him. They can buy whatever they want. Their parents run the country. There's probably not going to be as manly as that. But what that tells me is that it's manhood is more of a circumstance of like the choice that you make than it is for a woman. I think womanhood, you are born. It's way easier to do what women do. And I take that with an asterisk, because it's natural. Like, it comes first. You have to then add on as a man to go, okay, my natural instinct is to do nothing. Like, my natural instinct is to be like, okay, I'm gonna just chill out and relax and enjoy myself. I think that's a natural instinct of a person, which would fall more in line with, I believe, a woman. So now my theory was this. So imagine this, right? Let me know what you think about this. You have a woman who is in charge, right? Women are not known to be very strong physically, right? So if you asked a woman, what kind of person would you want around you? You would want stronger people, right? So it made me start thinking, are men the only way they are because that is what women want them to be? It's more beneficial for a man to have these character traits that we have instilled in society for a man to have if he has a woman to use them on. If he has that stoic personality, he is not very emotional in terms of how he responds to situations. He's very disciplined. He's strong. These are things that help you to protect a woman. So my thing is, who does that benefit? Because a lot of those things don't really benefit the man, because a lot of times he has to suppress his emotion. If he's sad about something, he has to go out and do this labor to produce money and produce food or whatever the case might be. So from a standpoint of how does this benefit me, it really doesn't if I'm bringing it back to somebody else. So I was wondering if all the stereotypes of men that we have now were created by women hundreds or thousands of years ago, and we just kind of kept it. And I think that a woman wants to be able to go, okay, I could be comfortable in this environment. And if not, then they have the ability to do what men do, which is what we see happening now. Now, I don't think women want to be in that situation where they're doing, quote, what men are doing. But I think that most women I've seen have the ability to do that very easily. Like, I feel like women have this innate, powerful ability to do a lot of things if given the pressure to do so. Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if more women or men break under extreme pressure. What would you think?
Men.
You think men?
Yes.
Why do you think that?
Because I feel like women go through a lot of extreme pressures just kind of naturally. Like, whether that's... Because think about the things that, like, stress you out or whatever. And then on top of that, we talk about, you know, your period cycle. And then on top of that, if you get pregnant and have to bear all of that, have kids, a lot of times, guys, you know, if we talk about having kids in general as the example, y'all just be like, I don't want to deal with this, and then leave. So you don't deal with it. You just leave. You don't want to, not want no parts. I'm out. Whereas the woman, especially if she chose to have the child, she's going to have to deal with that child for the rest of her life.
She don't have to. Right, she could leave it. But yes. I do think there are more.
But there's more women that are going to withstand that stress and that pressure and raise a child.
Yeah, I think there are more men who leave a child than there is a woman who leaves a child.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's an interesting theory. Like, who handles pressure more? Because I think it's funny that when we say women can't handle pressure, it's because they start crying and they start being emotional about it.
That doesn't mean they can't handle it.
Right. And that doesn't mean that they can't handle it. It just means that that's their response to it. I think that for men, whether this is helpful or healthy or whatever the case might be, we may have a problem and we aren't supposed to be emotional about it, so we just hold it in and we die early and we crack under pressure. We end up going crazy. And honestly, if I remember correctly, I've heard this on multiple different takes, that the suicide rate among men is significantly higher than it is among women. Why is that? If women, now what's the thing? If women are have more pressure than men, well, do they? I don't know. I think that women just are allowed to express it more. So, and that expression is a form of release. So I think that for men, because you never have that release, I think that's when you end up, becoming maybe suicidal or having those issues,
because you don't have a place that you can release that stress.
Interesting. So here's another thing too about it, right? Everyone wants a woman. Everyone needs a woman. Even gay men need a woman, right? If they want to have children, they need a woman to hold the child for 9 months. You can take the sperm and put it in a woman, and the man, he'd be fine, right? I guess you could kind of say the same thing the other way around.
What?
Like, if there were no men, you couldn't have a baby. But it's like,
if there were no men, you couldn't have a baby. Yeah, sure, but they're not incubating the baby. They're not the one that's growing the baby.
Yeah, but I was gonna say that, like, who needs who?
Because I'm like, because the way that I see it is like, if I take your sperm.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because you just need to develop the sperm. You don't need to physically be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could just take your sperm and put it into a woman, and she'll still have a baby, possibly. You can't take. If I give you an egg from a woman, then nothing is coming from that.
Right. So yeah, I agree. I was gonna say that men are not needed. Sperm is needed.
Yes.
Because you can have a woman with sperm and have a baby. You cannot have a man with a uterus or a egg or a fallopian tube. Like, okay, make a baby. It won't happen. So I just think it's interesting that women have this ability that even men who are gay are like, all right, listen, I don't like having sex with y'all, but can I give you some sperm to make a baby, please? I can have it with my man over here, and we can just raise it over here. They're like, okay, sure. Either adopt one, or we could do like IV or whatever it's IVF, whatever it's called. You could do that. So I just find it to be interesting. So actually, this is another thing I watched yesterday, right? It's called What is a Woman? It's a documentary that is on a Daily Wire by Ben Shapiro. He has his own streaming service, which is insane. But they went to some African country, I think it was, and they were trying to ask them, like, how do they feel about transgender? And they were like, what do you mean by that? They were like, yeah, like, what if a man says he's a woman? And he was like, well, that's impossible. He wouldn't be a woman. They were like, but like, what if you had a man who said, I know I'm a man, but on the inside I feel like I'm a woman? They were like, we don't understand your question. He's like, okay. If I'm a man and I have a penis, but inside I feel like I should have a vagina and be a woman, what do you guys call that? And they were like, a mental illness. Like, we would call that person mentally ill and say something's wrong with them. And I found it to be very interesting. So he also asked them, what is the role of a woman? And I believe he said to bear children. I believe he said something along that line, right? But here's what really got me, which is interesting. He said, what is the role of a man? And his answer in his tribe was to serve the women. Now, I'm like, that is a very interesting take from a very, I guess you call it primitive or older traditional tribe, where it's like, your job as a man is to serve your woman. I don't think that's how we look at it now. I think there are some men who do, but most men that don't. And I think, I don't know why where the lines get crossed here, but we have viewed simping as a problem. And I wouldn't say that serving your woman is simping, but the act of serving your woman, I feel like, is kind of looped or lumped in with simping. So it's like, you don't want to do anything for your woman because it's like, oh man, bro, you bought your girl a dinner. Oh my God, bro, you are simping like a motherfucker. Like, I don't really know where those lines got crossed. But I just find it interesting that was his outlook on it. And to me, I think that makes a lot of sense. But I know for a fact, and including a conversation I've had recently with one of my family members, is that she's talking to this guy, and I see a lot of red flags personally. But I think that men are so afraid of like getting hurt again and cheated on again that they act very differently. And honestly, I don't even know. I think, damn, that's kind of crazy. When women get cheated on, how do they respond?
They're hurt. They cry. It's funny. Oh yeah. I think I've been cheated on before. What happened? I feel like I had a panic attack.
But like, that's the thing though. How did you change how you would talk to other women, other men? Did that affect how you talk to other men?
Not really.
And that's something that, to me, that's interesting, because I'm like, I've only met one woman who I felt like was, I would say, like, adamantly trying to do things to protect herself from men. But most women, I don't feel like I feel like when a man gets hurt by a woman, his mindset is to actively try to demonize women. I guess women are the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think for women it's kind of like,
I thought they'd be lying though.
the men.
The women.
The women, in terms of what?
Like, if they try to demonize a man, I feel like they don't try to demonize the men they're talking to. I feel like normally men demonize all women that they're talking to, not talking to, all of them. Yeah. I feel like women are more like, men ain't shit. Like that's kind of the thing. Like, okay, men ain't shit overall, but when they finally get a man, it's very different. I feel like a guy could have a good girl and be like, you ain't shit because you're a woman.
I think, well, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. I think part of it has to do with the fact that women don't typically have to court men. Men typically have to court women. So it's kind of like being a woman. Even if I get cheated on, there's still guys that are trying to talk to you afterwards, if that makes sense. Because I don't know how often it is that women really go out their way to like either talk to you, get your phone number, with dealing with a guy. I know that they might give you signs that they are interested, but you still have to do the work after that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like for women, it's like, no, there's a guy that's down the block that's asking for my number, that wants to take me out on a date. If I go to work tomorrow, I might run into another guy that wants to take me out on a date. So it's kind of like, I feel like there's a jadedness that comes from dealing with women that then cheat on you because, I don't know, maybe I feel like y'all not gonna get somebody else. I don't know.
I'm saying I don't know if that makes sense to me. But this is my thing. I feel like a man who looks very good, like an attractive man who's doing the right things, who's been cheated on in the past, who is now a high value man, quote, will do all of the very insecure things like, I'm gonna cheat on her. I'm gonna like talk to her crazy. He gonna do the whole, the whole red pill ideology stuff. He's gonna do all of those things. I'm going to talk to her like she's like this. I'm gonna treat her like that. I don't respect women because of this. I feel like no matter the quality of the man, that happens a lot. I feel like for a woman, I don't really see them get cheated on and then go, yeah, I'm not gonna fuck with men no more.
But y'all, the red pill thing, is that because you get cheated on, or is that because like that's how you quote unquote pick up a woman?
It's usually because they got hurt by a woman or they can't get a woman. Right,
and that's what I was saying earlier, where it's like, I think it's the lack of being able to readily find another woman that makes it kind of, or like, because I think it kind of ties into what I think the benefit is of being on like dating apps. Mm-hmm. You kind of get that confidence that there's someone out there that still wants to talk to you, or like,
I don't know, because I'm like, there are men who get women who are still that way.
Right, but I feel like that's also because of the teachings and practices that come with it, because it's like you treat women like cattle. Like, if I do XYZ, I'm gonna get XYZ response, ABC response. And I think that all of that is a form of not opening up and allowing yourself to be emotional. Mm-hmm. I think it ties back into that. And I think another portion of it is not being readily able to find another person that's interested in you. Because if you did, I don't think you would go about that route like that. Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know what the conclusion is.
The conclusion is that I think men are not able to find another woman readily available. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of the reason why they go about it the way that they do, and that's why they get like kind of so angry at all the women like that, because they have to go out. I think that's part of it too, because you now have to go out and find another woman, and that woman could do the same thing that the first woman did to you.
Same thing with a man. You if you get cheated on, you still gotta like choose another man that's not gonna do that to you.
But he's courting me. Like, you're looking for the woman to talk to and spend time on, right?
Yeah,
so
I guess I can see that.
So it's like, if I have to now take you out on dates, pay for your food, have to be there emotionally for you, or like listen to your day or whatever, I had to put in all that work on top of me pretty much choosing you being a guy, right? So that means that if I picked you and you cheated on me, that's crazy. Oh my God, I don't even know how to pick another one, right? If being a woman, it's kind of like, damn, you courted me, like you came after me and you cheated on me. There's still another guy that's trying to talk to me right there.
So I think this is what I think you're trying to say. Let me know if I'm right. Men become resentful after chasing after a woman and getting cheated on. Women are not doing the work to get the man. They just have to choose a man. So they aren't putting in as much work, so they don't feel as hurt or resentful or upset, because it's like, you brought me a gift I didn't like. I didn't go out and work for this gift and then get the gift and be like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
So that's what I think. So that's my conclusion. I think that men, because they have to hunt and chase after women to then catch the woman, court the woman, and then for her to do something vile to him.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes. It's like, damn, that's crazy. I hate all of y'all. As opposed to a woman sitting back, it's like, okay, I gotta pick one of y'all. I picked him. It's like, damn, I picked the wrong one. Shit. Okay, let me try again. Next time another guy come up to me, I'll pick a different one. But other thing, episode playback, I finally was able to post 5 audios that I have not posted, maybe 6. Honestly, I might have to post 2 more. I think I did all. I think I'm up to date with all the audios. I have definitely not posted them all, but now they up, so that's good. So they cross all the platforms. Can you scroll down? And then for topics of the day, and let's probably do 2 of these and maybe 3 and then wrap it up. So I personally think that China is going to be a better country than America, and I think one of those reasons is because of they have tradition, and I think America doesn't have any tradition, so we don't really have anything to stand on. Right now, I think Melissa and I were having this conversation the other day about how America is operating currently as a superpower with 360 million people here. And to me, that goes to show that China, in my opinion, is already doing a lot better than we are because of how strong they currently are. And they have almost 5 times as many people as we do. And they are still able to manage all those people and still able to like run the country well. Like a lot of people like to say that, well, they have a lot of poverty and, you know, they have a lot of surveillance and things like that, which is, listen, I'm 100% against that kind of stuff. But you got to think about it from this perspective. If you are tasked with running a country of 1 billion people or plus, if it's not, I don't know, 1.3, 1.5, whatever, it's a lot harder to run that kind of country than it is to run America. If I told you you have to imagine you have a household, right? And you have 2 kids to watch and to manage. Now imagine if I told you, as a parent, a single parent of 2 kids is manageable. You'll have some slip through the crack. You might have some issues here. One kid does this, one kid does that. A little problem. Imagine what it would be like to have 15 kids as a single parent. That would be absurd. Where do I put them? How do I feed them? How do I discipline them? How do I keep an eye on them? It's too many. I don't even know what's going with 15 kids and one parent to raise all 15. That's insane. And like I said, I think that is similar to what is happening with China. And honestly, I feel like a better comparison would be like if you have like 5 kids and then you have 20 something kids with a single parent, because that's something that's almost it's in my mind almost impossible to manage doing that. So like I said, Melissa and I were having a conversation because she was saying that they have a lot of poverty over there, like extreme poverty. They have people working all the time, day in and day out. And I'm like, we have that same thing here. It's just not on a massive scale yet. And we're already cracking under the pressure. Like, we're already complaining and crying about how much work we have to do. We're deciding to become trans now. We're like, hey, it's so hard. I want to be a woman. Like, it's just, I think America is going in the wrong, like a terrible direction. And to me, I think I will give it probably 15 years before what we see as America is today is no longer that. I say 15 years. That's my guess. 15. How many presidents is that? 4, 8, 12. That's 3 presidents. I say 5 presidents. So 20 years. 20 years, America will be unrecognizable. Like, we will be looking around like, this is where we live at. Like, a lot of people already say that America is a third world country. We just don't know because we live here. We keep saying like, well, we have, gay rights, so we are doing well. And it's like, oh, we have a lot of food, that we make ourselves in the lab, so we're doing well. And I'm like, I personally, I don't know what's going to look like, but I just want people to know that I think that is where this is going. So I don't know if you are into that kind of stuff, how you would prepare for it, whether it be investing financially, moving to a certain part of the country, moving to another country in itself. But I think America is going in the shitter for sure. This thought came to me because I was watching that documentary called The Inside Job. And I said this before in the podcast that I think that, at least in America for sure, insecure men run the country. And I say that because of how the population is and how the country is, the direction that it's going. I think that the people in the country usually go in the direction of the leadership, and our leadership, in my opinion, doesn't really have strong values or morals. And I think it trickles down from them down to the poorest person that lives here in America, right? I'm thinking about what would be traditional American values. I really don't even know what they would be. What would you say they are, Melissa?
Traditional?
Yeah, American values.
Probably like just probably whatever you see on like the old time TV shows, like Leave It to Beaver or like MASH. I don't know if MASH is a good one, but stuff like that. Where it's like typically nuclear families. Was supposed to be head thing, working hard for your money, American dream.
I don't know. I'm just saying whatever you think it is. I don't know what you think.
I mean, bro, all I know, I'm the wrong person to ask.
No, you're not.
How?
Why would you be the wrong person to ask?
Because, like, I don't know what perspective you're trying to get, because I'm not.
I want your perspective.
Oh, sure. Cool. The reason why I said I'm the wrong person to ask, because my perception of America comes from TV and what they write in the history books. So if my parents and stuff were from here, I'm pretty sure I would have a different perception of America than the one I currently.
Which is the one that you have?
I mean, the one that like is
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Oh my god. Oh, that's just how I speak. Sorry.
Oh.
Traditional American values, I don't really know. I can't put that into words.
You told me that you just said, from my perspective, I have a way of looking at it. What is your way?
From my perspective, I don't really have them. Like, I don't really know what would be. Yeah, I don't really know what American values are. Okay.
So I think if I had to guess American values, because I would say the Declaration of Independence. I do think that traditional American values is, funny enough, conservative lifestyles, where it's man and woman, have a child, stay together, get married, like Melissa said, work hard. But as far as sayings go, and I think this is part of the problem. Maybe it's always doomed to fail from the beginning. I think that because there is so many cultures in America, there is no actual culture in America. If you go to other places, they all have a idea of who they are and what they are. If you go to China, if you go to Jamaica, you go to Russia, there isn't like you. only in America can somebody come over here and we have to now abide by like their language. Like, I don't think you can go to China and be like, you have to learn, like, you have to imagine going to China and expecting the person at the register to pull out a translator to figure out what you're saying. No. If you go somewhere else, you have to know their language. You can come to America, not know the language. People have to then try and accommodate you. Like, okay, what are you saying? What's going on? And we make that kind of accommodation for that. And with that, I feel like comes the other culture, because I don't think that people who come here are societally forced or pressured to be a certain kind of way. I think if you go to China or you go to Russia, you go anywhere else, I think they force you to be a certain kind of way. I feel like here, the values that we have now are do whatever you want, whatever you feel, whatever you want to express, just do that. And that's kind of what the values have become, I feel like, in America. In other places, I don't feel like it's like that.
I agree with that. I think America is, my brain, the first word that came to my head was lawlessness. Mm-hmm. But it is very much like, you know, yeah, if you could just kind of do whatever you want, as long as it's not hurting anyone.
Physically.
Right. Yeah, because you can say whatever you want and stuff too. In other countries, it's definitely not. It's not. I think, even funny enough, I saw this on TikTok where they were saying that, oh, Jamaicans are so vulgar and blah, blah, blah. But Jamaica as a country is very conservative. Mm-hmm. Very conservative. Like, dressed to your knees. Like, if you ever see, like, the school children, like, in their uniform and stuff, like, it's very, what happened?
What about Carnival?
That's, like, so there's two sides, right?
Oh, I bet.
Because think about it. If you're gonna have a very strict side on one side, there's gonna be people that's gonna rebel against that. That's gonna be the other side. That's just typically how things are. Everyone doesn't fit into that super conservativeness. So then that's how you have the other side, which is super on the other side because the conservativeness is so conservative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I think, but I do think that.
It's like the other countries too.
In terms of what?
Like the tattoos and just stuff like that. Like, if you're super conservative.
But I feel like in those countries, they still hide that. They do their expression within, like, to themselves in their home. Like, oh, you got a tattoo on your back that you hide with your sweater and your jacket. What's wrong with you? Yeah. I feel like here it's like, I want you to know that I'm expressing how I feel, as opposed to I want to express this thing for myself.
That is true. I think a lot of American cultures has to do with the perception of how other people perceive you.
Right. Like, I want you guys to know that I'm expressing my pride. Look at me. Look at me doing this. Look at this tattoo.
See how much money I have.
Look all right. Look all of this.
Accolades, just everything. See me. That's very much.
Which makes sense.
That's American culture.
Which makes sense why we have. That is true. Which makes sense why we have the leading social media apps. Well, other than TikTok, but. It's like we are a media. We are the biggest media conglomerate, I feel like, in the world. I feel like all of the biggest media stuff comes from here. That's my opinion.
Because we want to be seen so bad.
Because we're so insecure as a country. That's why.
I think that, funny enough, I was going to say that I think America was made for outcasts. I
can see that.
So it kind of thrives off of differentness.
That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. Wow. I never thought about that. That would explain why we're all so crazy over here.
Yeah. I mean, the first people that came here, I don't even think they were, like, supposed to be here. Like, I think it was, like, indentured servants or something that they sent over here. So, like, the whole foundation of America is just, like, I don't really want to abide by any rules. I don't really want to do what you want me to do. I'm just trying to, let me just do what I want to do, which is different than what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I think that if you multiply that, that's how you get to where we are now.
Yes.
But I also think that that is very interesting. I've never thought about that. the most conservative country is saying, okay, everybody, you have to have one kid, and we're like, no, we want to have two. It's like, we're gonna go to America and have two kids. It's like, okay, fine. I feel like where it's at now is like, it was easier then because it was only one kid to two kids. I feel like now we're pretty much saying we want to have 1,000 kids per person. Where it's like, okay, after a certain point, the things that you want, the freedom that you want becomes unreasonable. Because now there's no structure. We're not abiding by anything. Like we've gone so far that we like words, man, woman, throw them out the window. They don't exist. I don't want to abide by those terms anymore. Fuck it. I don't want to go by anything. And I'm like, I feel like this was where it was going to go regardless of anything. Because we really are in a place where we're like, okay, express however you want to feel all the time. Just be that.
I mean, America is an experiment. Like, there's never been any other...
it's failing. I think it's failing.
There's never been any other government that's kind of run the way that this is running. So it definitely is very experimental. And I think that from that, yeah, it's just there's a lot of good things that come with being able to express, your individual freedom. But on the other side of it, it's kind of like it's so much freedom that it's to your detriment.
But I gotta find out too. How did China fall? You know how they fell? Like how they lost, become the superpower? Cause they would lead for 1,000 years, something like that. It's a long time.
I think that
we're not gonna make it to 1,000. I'll tell you that right now. We're gonna be done in like 30. Be out of here.
For China, I can't really speak to it. I can more so speak to like how America like rose as opposed to how China fell.
Yeah, I don't care about America.
Right.
I said, I want to know, how did the superpower who was running it their way for so long now lose to us?
I think it just got outdated. It's because there's more freedom here, you kind of could take advantage of more things, or there's more loopholes. Like, let's say that there's already laws and systems that's been in place in China for thousands of years that you can't do certain things, you can't go about certain things a certain way. Now you in America that barely have any rules, you can do whatever you want.
Sure, but then if that's the case, why is China going to be a superpower again? If that is the solution to be able to do whatever you want.
So I think it has to do with the concept behind the innovation stack. So that's, you copy until you meet a problem, and then you use your own ingenuity to fix that problem. So if China has the infrastructure that it has, right? Yeah, it may have fell down, but it still has as much people as it has. It still has, access to the information that America is coming up with. If all I have to do is take your information and try to implement it on my structure, which is 10 times bigger than yours, I'm probably going to be able to get things done faster, have the manpower to get more things done, and I don't have to come up with the ideas myself. I'm just copying you, but I have more resources to get that thing done.
Yeah, it's interesting. The innovation stack definitely, I feel like, applies here for sure. I don't know what the problem he ran into was. I don't know if it's like a population problem, or maybe it was it's an economic problem, I guess. How do we get this for a lower price?
I think our problem started with outsourcing.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Where it's like, I don't get it for a lower price, I'm gonna go over there.
Right.
And China was like,
yeah, come over here.
Keep coming. Give us all that stuff. Give us all
do you think they don't know? Like, if we are constructing, like, we don't have the blueprints, but it's not going to take us long to copy. Like, I'm making it.
Who? Oh, you mean China? Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm making it.
That's an insane thing.
I'll just turn the screen a different color, put a different label on it, and say it's mine.
I will make the same phone and call it. I'll make the same exact phone and just say, yeah, it's called a China pineapple.
I'm making it. Why not? And that's the thing. That's the thing that always kind of gets me with capitalism, because I do understand that there's people that's disenfranchised and are, taken advantage of in that type of system. But at the same time, it's kind of like, because of all the rules and the taxes and how hard they make it for businesses here to run here. What's that? domestically, it makes it easier for them to go over there. And a lot of people, because what I mean is like a lot of citizens here, if they talk about giving tax breaks to businesses, to anything that would benefit bigger businesses, they look at it as that's not helping me. And that may be true if the businesses are taking advantage of people, but a lot of the time, the businesses are who pays the people here too. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, that's why it's just kind of like, to me, because we'll vote for people that'll, be harder on businesses, make them pay more taxes, make them do this, and then they go outside. They don't stay here. So now we don't reap the benefits from that. Now we failing because the businesses have to go elsewhere because we made it so uninhabitable here. Yeah,
and I think we gotta ask ourselves why we're doing that.
But I think that the concerns that people have are most likely like well-founded. Like it makes sense, their concerns and stuff. I just feel like it's not the right.
Like what?
You could pay more. You could pay us more in wages. You could do this. You could do that. I feel like that kind of concept, right? Or like when you have the conversation about minimum wage, if that should be a thing or should not be a thing. Like obviously, if I feel like the company I'm working at is taking advantage of me, you can send me home whenever I want. I'm not getting paid, even though I came here. Like I'm gonna feel some type of way about it. I want to make different changes so that you can't do that to me. But at the same time, there's also like, okay, how much stress do we put on the businesses that you're now not reaping the benefit of them being here?
So I finally got that topic off. There's a couple ones I also wanted to talk about. I'm not going to do it today. But the hidden cost to do something is something I really think is important. And then also empathy versus sympathy and tribal music, something I want to talk about too. And maybe vending machines. I don't know. Yeah, vending machines too, for sure. I might bring it up. I'm not a big proponent of them, but I've never done it. But from the numbers, it's not my cup of tea. We'll be back here next Tuesday. You can find all the behind the scenes content on our social medias. Mine is Donovan Gray, DonivanGray, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. You know what it is. # Bamboo Project 2022. We are the year's done in my opinion. In my opinion, this shit is already done, and this is so crazy. Like I just yesterday was making goals for the year, and now it's already September. This is crazy. So, bruh, and I think I'm happy that it's going the way it's going in the sense of I know exactly what the problems are. I didn't know what they were before, and having the podcast helped me to identify them, and I know what they are. I'm 100% sure what the problems are, and I'm hoping that from what I've learned from this last year or two, that I have the skill set to finish and fix and solve those problems. So, with that being said, Bamboo Project out.